What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to this episode of Restorations with Vic. For today's episode, we're gonna be working on these Dark Mocha Air Jordan 1s. Pretty much what I'm gonna do is the opposite of a restoration. I'm gonna go in and beat this shoe up. This is a big trend that's been going on in the last few months. It all started by this really cool dude named Filthy on Instagram. Pretty much what he did is grabbed a lot of new recent colorway Air Jordan 1s and aged them to look like actual 85 releases. So that's exactly what we're gonna do. Over here we got an authentic 1985 royal blue one. This is the look we're going for. We're gonna age the soles on these, give it that yellow tint. We're also gonna scuff up the uppers, just give it that beat up look. We're also gonna go in, reapply some new tongues, gonna get rid of the white ones, add some black ones, scuff up the uppers of course, do some painting areas on the collars, and throw some random stitching on the shoe. Again, the whole goal for this shoe is to make it look old. There's really no wrong way to do it. We just wanna make it look like this. Before we get started with this project, make sure to stick around to the end of the video because we are giving away a Reshoevn8r signature shoe cleaning kit bundle. Stay tuned for those details. Let's get started.
Sneaker giveaways are back. That's right, guys. For the month of November, another crazy Reshoevn8r giveaway is here. We'll be giving one lucky winner a chance at winning a pair of Grateful Dead SBs in your size. And these are valued over $1,000. All you have to do to enter, guys, is make sure you're subscribed to Reshoevn8r, which you should be if you're watching this video. Follow Mini Worlds on Instagram, which you can find in the description below, and sign up for the newsletter. And one lucky winner has a chance at winning these Grateful Dead SBs, guys. We have one more thing to do. You gotta go to gleam.io, which is linked in the description as well, and answer the secret question. And that's it, guys. I'm Johnny Bubbles. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
First thing we're gonna do is put this shoe to the side for before and after purposes. One thing I do wanna note, we did a cleaning video on this shoe a few weeks back. We went ahead and cleaned up the second shoe. I actually put them in the washing machine. This is something you don't wanna do because the shoe does contain suede. The only reason why I did it is because I wanted to fade the suede for this project. Let's go ahead and remove the laces and our shoe tree to get started. Good to go with that. Next thing we're gonna do is destroy the shoe. We're gonna remove the tongue using a seam ripper. That's off, super easy. Now we're gonna do the exact same thing by removing the patch so we could get it ready to put it on the black tongue. You get the patch off the tongue, super easy. I did my best to not damage this tongue because I could definitely use it for a future project. Now we're gonna grab our black tongue and some double-sided tape with our patch. We're gonna simply sew it onto the black tongue. We're gonna use the double-sided tape to keep it in place while I sew it on my patcher. Finally, we got the patch sewn onto the tongue. This process should have been really simple and fast, but I was having issues with my sewing machine. Eventually, I got it down. Front and back looks really good. Now, we're gonna do the same process, but we gotta apply this tongue onto the shoe. All done with the sewing on the shoe for now. This was a lot easier than laying down the patch onto the tongue for some reason. The stitching is nicely on point, no complaints with that. I personally like the black tongue a lot better. Now on to the next step, which are these collars on the shoe. We are gonna paint them. We're gonna be laying down a paisley print on them, but first we gotta print out the stencil using my maker. Paisley print is nicely printed out. Took a little while to weed it out, but we are good to go. Before we lay it down on the actual shoe, we gotta acetone the leather on the collar and this little piece using acetone and cotton balls, of course. If we don't do this step, the paint will simply not stick. Leather's all prepped, ready to go. Now let's lay down our stencil using transfer paper. This was very tedious work, but we finally got the stencil laid down on the collar. We got it taped up as well. Now we're gonna be laying down our black paint from Jacquard using my airbrush. All done with the paisley print. This took a long time. I still have to go in and touch it up. This was fully inspired by Trevor's Fugazi Air Jordan 1s. It is literally the sickest shoe if you go check out his Instagram. Now moving on with this custom, we're gonna go in and start weathering the shoe. We're gonna be using sandpaper and my Dremel to scuff up the areas. For this step, there's no wrong or right way to do it, but you do wanna be strategic when doing so. Over here, we'll be using this shoe for inspiration and this Beater Shadow 1 to test anything before we actually try it on this shoe. All done with the distressing part of this custom. Overall, I'm pretty happy on how it's looking. I pretty much hit the entire shoe, black leather, white leather. The brown suede was the hardest, but we got some scuffing in there as well. Same thing with the paisley print, the tongue, the sock liner, everything's pretty much weathered. Now we're gonna go ahead and move on to dyeing the scuffs on the white leather. We'll be using a wood stain marker and a towel and some sandpaper. Pretty much what we're gonna do is just go over it real quick, and then quickly, before the rest of the dye sinks into the leather, we'll wipe it off, and then we'll sand it to give it more of that natural look. Staining the scuffs are complete. Now we're gonna move on to some more sewing. For this step, we're gonna be adding some stitching in some random areas of the shoe, such as this area back here, a little bit in the front. This is inspired by Rustic Air's Customs. Here's where we're at with the custom. So far, I'm loving it. It is a lot of work, but it's looking great. We got some stitching on the inside panel, some up here, a little bit over here on the toe box. Again, it's coming out sick. I am looking at a lot of Rustic Air's images on Instagram. He has a few different customs using threading all over the shoe. I'm using his images as inspiration. Again, it's coming out good. Let's get back to it. I think I'm satisfied with all the stitching that's been applied to the shoe. I think I'm just gonna go ahead and add one more black stitching right here in this panel, but first we're gonna cut it open. On to the next step, we got AJ soles. This is a trick I picked up from Vintage Cakes Gallery on his YouTube channel. What we're gonna use is Salon Care 40, ivory candle wax dye, tape, gloves, a paintbrush, and that's pretty much it. 80% Salon Care 40, 20% dye. We already went ahead and pre-mixed it right over here. We're gonna tape off the uppers and soles so we can lay it down using a paintbrush. All right, good to go with this step, you guys. I know it looks super dark right now, but a lot of this stuff is gonna clear up. Right now, we gotta let it cure by putting them in my indoor setup. This shoe's fresh out the indoor setup. As you can see, the color got absorbed into the sole perfectly. Compared to the 85 Royal Blue, it's pretty close. Super happy on how it turned out. Over here, we do have a couple of inconsistencies, but that's okay. A lot of the 85 Jordan 1 soles have inconsistency yellow and oranges all around, so I kind of like that. The next step is lace up the shoe. We had an olive lace laying around. I wanted to give it that warm feel, so I added some red brown dye. Super easy to do, just got a little bucket of water, dipped it in there, let it sit for about an hour, let them dry, and got some inconsistency brown and olives all around. Let's lace it up. That is gonna bring us to an end on these aged custom Dark Mocha Air Jordan 1s. Originally, I thought this was gonna be a simple, quick process, but in reality, it took a long time. The main thing to getting this kind of custom right is being strategic and thinking about each detail that you place on the shoe. Each thread, each scuff mark, I sat there before I laid it down. All around, this shoe took a long time, but I'm super pleased on how it came out. The very first step I did was remove the tongues on the shoe. Originally, it was the white one, swapped it with the black one. I felt it went more with the colorway. I also had to remove the tab from the original white and place it on the black. After that, I just went ham at it, scuffing up the shoe. I started off with the black, super easy to do. After that, I went at it with the white. The white was a little bit trickier, but overall, I'm super happy how it turned out. After I scuffed it, I used a stain marker to stain certain areas of the shoe to give it that nice aged look. Then we went ahead and added the paisley print. This, in my opinion, is one of the sickest details of the whole shoe. That was inspired by Trevor's Fugazi Air Jordan 1s. Then, of course, we added the vintage feel on the soles. This also came out super dope and pretty close to an actual 85 sole from an Air Jordan 1. That was a trick picked up from Vintage Cakes Gallery from his YouTube channel. Then, of course, we added zigzag stitching all around the shoe. That was inspired by Rustic Air's Customs. We added it up here, both sides of the shoe, down here in the toe box. Came out super dope. That was pretty much it. We laced it with some olive laces that were a bit weathered, added some brown dye to give it that feel with the rest of the shoe. Now, let's get into the giveaway. We are giving away a Rejuvenator Signature Shoe Cleaning Kit bundle. All you gotta do is be subscribed to our YouTube channel and drop a comment down below on what you thought about these customs with your Instagram handle. We will notify the winner in the next 48 hours. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, you guys. This is Vick Almighty. Catch you guys next Monday.